Having the right equipment for a job makes it that much easier and it lets you charge the correct price. I'm Quinn Redmond. I'm the owner of Gainer Solutions and I've run multiple outdoor companies. And this is the correct way to price a snow removal company and the best equipment to have, depending on which pricing. So, getting it started off, essentially the easiest way to do it is you can just go ahead and get yourself some shovels. You can do this yourself. You can get, maybe you have some siblings, maybe you have a couple brothers, or maybe you're on a sports team and you've got some teammates or whatnot. You're young and spry. You guys have the strong backs to be able to go out and just shovel the snow. You can definitely do it that way, and you can charge relatively a varied range for this, depending on if you're doing it yourself or if you have a team of guys doing it. Essentially, you could probably charge $25 per house, which is going to be normally a lot cheaper than if someone just comes out one time to clear it with a snowblower. You can charge 25, and then that way, hey, everyone makes $5 per house, and then hey, you guys do 20 houses. Hey, there's $100 that you just made doing snow removal. $100 as a high schooler. I mean, that would last me like almost a month worth in terms of the only thing I had to buy was gas and food. So like $100, like you feel pretty rich. So maybe, for you guys, go knock it out. It'll really only take probably a couple hours. And depending on how active you guys are with, getting out in the neighborhood and going and getting people, it would essentially be easiest if you guys all live in the same neighborhood, boom, that same neighborhood, just everyone in the neighborhood go around, talk to the neighbors. You probably know a bunch of the neighbors. Your parents probably know all of them. So just kind of let it be known, and boom, you can probably get to 20 clients very easy that way. Or if you live in a couple different neighborhoods, then the collection of, hey, parents talk to neighbors, neighbors talk to neighbors. More than likely, a lot of people are more inclined to hire someone like you if you're like a high schooler. Hey, you're in college, you live in the neighborhood, they relatively know you, they want to help you get started, they understand you're doing it for extra cash. They're more than likely very interested to hire you. Now, if you start to step up, hey, you're super serious about this, maybe you've done that for a couple years, you stash away some cash. If you have a little bit of money and you really want to kind of start to be able to be more efficient with this, maybe you want to run this as yourself, the next step up is just going ahead and getting a couple different snowblowers. And even inside getting snowblowers, you have a varied range. So you can get what's a snow thrower, which is basically a stage 1 thrower, where it brings the snow and it's going to cycle it in like this, and then it just throws it up out of the top. These aren't really that powerful, and they aren't motorized, so you have to like physically push them like a push lawnmower, so it doesn't have the actual drive track to it. So they're a little bit lighter. I had one of these, and if it snows between like 2 and 5 inches, and if you're in a climate that it gets really cold, so if you're in the Dakotas or maybe like the northern parts of Minnesota where it gets pretty cold and the snow is pretty fine because it's so cold, it gets really 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 light and it's almost kind of like powdery, then the snow thrower is the best thing for it because you can walk behind it. You can get some decent amount of steam, and like it lets you walk with good pace. Sometimes with the bigger snow blowers, like it walks at a slower pace even on the fast settings. So having something like this is super easy. It's light. You don't need ramps. You just basically lift it, or at least I lifted it in and out of the bed of the truck. And so it's something that, hey, it's not super heavy. It's like a lawnmower. You got to walk behind it, but you can walk pretty quick. Essentially, with one of these, again, 2 to 6 inches, kind of light powdery snow, because if it starts to get wet, it doesn't work very well because it needs to be a very light amount of snow if it's really wet. But if it's powdery, you can get about 6 inches. 5 is pretty fine. 6 is kind of pushing it just because of the actual height of the mouth where it brings it in. But if it's powdery, you'll be fine, and then you can walk quickly and it throws it. It was taking me roughly on a normal house from the time to park the truck, get out, unload, do the driveway and quick sidewalk, load it back up and drive away, was about 10-15 minutes, just depending on whether it was closer to the 2 or the 6 inches. But in Fargo, it was pretty powdery. We got pretty cold there a lot of times, so it was pretty fine. And again, about 15 minutes max. And again, that is, and end of the day, hey, lifting it in and out of the truck, you do get tired. So by the end of the day, that's where I say the 15 minutes. Hey, when you first get started, you're fresh, you're warm, you're energized, you're well fed. End of the shift, kind of, and last couple houses, hey, you've done it now a couple times, your legs are tired. Maybe you walk a little bit slower, closer to that 15 minutes. But if it's really wet, compacted snow, that's where you want to go up to the next stage, is a stage 2. So this not only brings the snow and it's got those gears, but it's also going to have something that then throws the snow up, but it also is motorized. So the wheels are motorized, so you can just walk behind it while it does the work for you. These are a lot heavier. You need ramps. So this includes with, hey, you need a truck for this for sure. You need ramps to be able to put this up into. And the next kind of combo with that as well is you can get a riding lawnmower and attach a snowblower onto a lot of those. At least if you get the ones that are compatible to be able to swap and change some things out. So if you intend to be doing this long term, then that could be a very advantageous buy. Again, if you do a couple seasons of this, store some money away, hey, spend a little bit more money on something that's a little bit bigger, gives you a little bit more ease as you do something like this. And then again, having that mower in the spring, so that's where you can kind of combo and be able to offset something like that. So hey, you do have something that's more powerful, to tackle a lot of blizzards. Hey, it's a wet snow, it's a really heavy snow. Having a riding lawnmower that's now converted into a snowblower makes it really, really easy to do a lot of that stuff, because it just is a lot more physical power. It has the ability, it has the workhorse to do that. Versus, hey, you just get a really big fancy stage 3, where same concept as stage 2. Stage 2 is just a little bit smaller, but stage 3, again, it's going to have that walk behind ability, and having the riding lawnmower, hey, makes sense for if you're doing this year round with a spring, which as most people do with snow removal. They're not normally just going to do snow removal. They're going to then do something in the spring as well. So, hey, couple years, maybe save up, could be a good purchase. Or, if you're able to get a lot of those mowing contracts, get some of that stuff, get those bigger things, might be able to do that sooner, because then, you're going to need a trailer for something like that. So having the correct truck, having the correct trailer, and then actually being able to spend the money on the mowing lawnmower. Check Facebook Marketplace for sure for a lot of this stuff, because if you're in an area that does a lot of those things, then you have a lot of other business owners and whatnot that they've got old equipment that they either don't want to use anymore. Hey, they don't want to fix it. Hey, maybe it does work. Maybe someone is shutting down. So there's always different deals and things going on Facebook. So definitely make sure to check and look there. And then really the other option for something like this is if you just want to actually attach a plow onto your truck. I never had a plow on the 2 trucks that I had while I did this. I always went with the snowblower, one of which, I had a stage 2, and then I had a combo of a snow thrower and then a bigger stage 3 snowblower. So it's kind of a couple different ways to go about this, which is why I have all these different ways. Because hey, there was days where I've just shoveled snow with a shovel. So I've done all of these with the exception of a plow. I had a buddy of mine that had a plow, and so we would go in his truck, and he would use his plow on the bigger driveway and whatnot. So hey, he would kind of back drag some of it and then plow and push into the yard. But this is something where it can make sure that you can handle it, make sure that you test it, you practice with it, because on the same effect of, I had a different, not really buddy, but I knew someone that had a snow removal, and he had a truck and he had a plow, and he was basically going on a lot of hours of moving snow, and kind of got a little lackadaisical, and he just tore up the front person's yard, because where you drag some of it, but then you push and you create mounds in people's yards. That's where you plow it to. And he was a little careless, and it was a long shift, long hours, and he just tore up their front yard. So with a plow, something like that, understanding how to use it, how to drive it, what kind of plow you actually have, hey, what you have the ability to do, how much snow you can take on, because again, for some of those, it's an actual smaller blade. Hey, some of these, they actually move. Hey, some you have a ton of control over. Some it's just the way it's set up is the way it's set up. So you have to be able to be adaptable. You have to be able to, hey, learn, practice, and understand. You can genuinely destroy someone's yard if you're not paying attention. It happens in a blink of an eye. So might just go the snowblower route. And then, hey, as you level up, maybe you go for the riding lawnmower. And then if you've got a riding lawnmower, you've got the trailer. And doing something like that, yes, you do have to then be out in the elements. But even upgrading, the one thing that I was definitely thinking about, and I started pricing one out, is you can get an ATV. And a lot of the ATVs will allow you to be able to put a snowblower attachment on them if you search for the right ones. Like the Bobcat has one. So they're street legal and you're able to drive just fine. And so the best part is it's an ATV, so driving through the snow is no problem. But you can get a snow blower attachment. I was going to say snow plower attachment, but snow blower attachment to go on the front. And so it's an ATV, so you're just kind of driving around, flying around. Makes it a little bit easier, a little bit smoother. Again, you do have to be out in the elements, so it might not be the best situation if you get one of the ones that aren't completely enclosed. So there's cheaper ones, and there's definitely the more expensive ones that have an enclosed cab. They've got AC, they've got radios. So again, I priced a couple of them out, and they do start to get kind of pricey. So doing this for years and years, understanding that that's the next level up. But having something like that, if you have this fancy ATV, the super fancy one that has the cab on it, the method and the way that you do it is you have the ATV, you get inside the cab, it's like driving a truck. You have the snow blower attachment on the front, and they go, I think the one was 48 inches, and I think maybe 72 inches. So 4 to 6 feet. Snow plower on the front, and then you think about how big a normal driveway is. It's 2 cars, and this would do it. So somewhere 4 to 6 feet, maybe 5 total passes up and back, and that's with somewhat of an overlap, will be just fine. And I think at 5 passes, kind of the method, you would, I think, average just a regular house driveway in terms of what I said earlier. Hey, the physical labor. Hey, park the truck, get out, take the thing down, start it, clear off, walk back, put the thing back in the truck, start the truck, shift, go. 10, 15 minutes. And by the end, you're super tired. Versus this, drive up, turn the attachment on, boop, 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 boop. If you have to do the actual sidewalks, which the correct way to do this would be you get as many driveway only as possible, or you just have people and then you sub out someone that goes and just does the sidewalks. So you drive the ATV around and you never have to get out. It takes you maybe max 5 minutes. If you have a huge blizzard and you got 18 inches of snow that fell, it'll take you max 5 minutes to do that driveway, because the snowblower that goes on the front of this is super powerful. So again, you go 5 passes, you can clear a large patch in a very, very fast amount of time, and you're able to do this. You're able to target the snow, throw it into the yard. You don't have to worry about rolling into their yard. You're very cautious. It's a very safe way to do it. You have a couple shovels in the back that, hey, you kind of clean some stuff up around the edges with the shovels. Shouldn't really take too much effort there, and then drive off. You're gone. So again, probably 3 minutes, maybe 60 seconds. If you really think about it, if it's like 5 inches of snow that fell, it might take 60 seconds to do, but realistically it probably takes maybe 3 minutes. If again, you get the shovel, you kind of get this, pull it back from the garage a little bit, and then maybe clear a little bit for the walkway, and then you just hop back in and blow it and get out of there. So that, I think, is the ultimate top stage in the way to do it. Is the ATV. It's a little bit smoother getting around than having a truck and trailer. Makes it driving through the snow a lot easier. It's got a different ride height. It's got the ability, hey, you're supposed to do off-roading stuff in this. It's got great traction. So that, I think, is the ultimate. But at the end of the day, if you've got a truck, if you've got 5 buddies, if you guys are, kind of young, you're just getting started, you guys could go get a ton of houses just by having some shovels. And you know what? Hey, are you going to be tired? But yeah, I mean, you need to work out anyways. So doing something like this is a great workout. It's a great way to start. And at the end of the day, it's cash. Like, people are going to pay you cash. It's a great business to get started. It's one that's never going to go away, because we live in climates and places that get a lot of snow. Why people live in Fargo, North Dakota, I don't know. It is the frozen tundra. I don't know why we decided to put these establishments up in these places that get really cold and get all the snow, but that's something that's never going away. It's always going to be needed, because as of right now, there's no automated snow plow robots or any automation coming there, because it's a physical labor job. Hey, could you eventually probably put it onto some kind of driving car that might be able to automate stuff? But even then, it just doesn't have the same workability. It's not going anywhere. It's something that's needed every single year. And every single year, people are looking for a new contract. Hey, I had someone last year. They did a great job. I'm going to rehire that same person. Hey, I had someone last year. They absolutely sucked. I'm looking for a new person. Hey, I just moved into town. I'm not clearing that snow off. I'm looking for someone. Hey, I just moved from a different house. I'm going to pull that other company with me. Okay, maybe you don't get that person. But there's always stuff going on. There's new build going up, there's new people moving in, there's new people moving out, there's new apartments going up, there's new businesses moving in, there's new businesses moving out. Like there's so many different ways that you can get different contracts and different abilities, and it more or less depends on what equipment you have to be able to go do that. Now, the pricing, yes, the entry level, if you're just with shovels, you can do it super cheap because you know what? If you want to get $9 shovels, you can. If you want to spend $75 and get the plastic blade, like the thing you can get on Amazon, it's like 30 inches or something like that, and it's a snow pusher. Like that thing is virtually indestructible. Like you could have those for probably 2-3 seasons and use them heavy because they the way they grind down, like they're not going anywhere. Then the actual like physical shaft rod of the actual shovel is pretty sturdy, and they're easy to replace as well. So you could have entry level start fees for this be $20 or $100, or if you want something more expensive, ultimately going all the way up, you can spend a couple $100 on a snowblower. You can spend roughly a couple $1,000s on getting a very fancy riding lawnmower with the snowplower attachment to be able to change some stuff out. Maybe you get one on Facebook Marketplace that someone just fixed up or something like that, get one cheaper. Or, you ultimately you spend, 6-8 grand maybe on a blade, you throw it on the truck and you do something like that. So a lot of different options there, a lot of different things that you can do. But if you have a snow removal company, then this is a couple ways that you can go about it. Having the right equipment definitely helps. And if you need any help, we're here at Gainer Solutions. Just hit that subscribe button. Always helping you out, always giving you tips and tricks. I'll see you in the next video.